Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm just going to be showing you how I apply glitter onto this wine tumbler using the epoxy method. I already have my epoxy mixed here and I let it sit for about 10 minutes, so it's already warm. I already prepped and spray painted my wine tumbler. I used the Rust-Oleum metallic gold paint, and then I used the almond for this part. So right now I'm just gonna apply some of my epoxy here with my finger. So when you're doing the epoxy method, you don't need a lot of epoxy for this. So you just want to spread it out evenly as much as you can. If you put too much epoxy on, it's gonna look like slick in some areas. So you just want to keep spreading as much as you can here. Also, if you warm your tumbler before applying this epoxy, you could spread it easier as well. So basically right now I have most of this cup with epoxy, and I only dip my finger in one time. So now I'm just going to do one more so I can finish it off and do the bottom. So you want to make sure you get every spot. You don't want to leave anything without the epoxy, because this is what our glitter is gonna stick to. So I'm just gonna rub a little bit more. And we're gonna put it here. So you wanna make sure that you rub around the rim. You wanna make sure that you rub around the rim and inside, like that. You got it everywhere there, because you don't want any naked spots. Base painting this too with the paints close to the glitter colors also helps with that. So there's our epoxy. Now I'm going to let this sit for about 2 to 3 minutes, and I'm going to let that epoxy get tacky, and then I'll be back to show you how it glittered. Alright, so I let that epoxy sit for 3 minutes. So now it's going to be tacky, and I'm going to go in first with my lightest color. So I'm going in with Opal Majesty by Peachy Olive Glitters. It's like a, I don't know if it's considered fine or chunky, but it's a little bit more chunky. So what I'm going to do is I want Opal Majesty on the top. So since we're doing the ombre, I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to tap my glitter shaker lightly. So you see how it's falling down? I'm not worried about filling in color yet. I'm just trying to map out where I want these colors to fall. So you see how it's just falling by itself, but I'm tapping very lightly because I'm just mapping out where I want my fade to go. So now I'm just going to go a little bit on the top, fill that in a little bit, just like that, but I'm not going ahead in full coverage. So I want this fade to go down a little bit more here, so I'm just going to go over that area, tap like that. So when you do it like this, the glitter is just going to naturally fall down. So I want to do a little bit more here. This is basically just how you want it to fall. So I like how everything is sitting here. So I'm going to tap off the excess glitter. I'm going to put my cup off to the side. And I'm just going to put this glitter back in my shaker. So this is just a piece of parchment paper here that I'm using. Alright. So now that I got most of that glitter off, Now I'm going to go in with my chunky gold. So I'm going to be using Athena from Peachy Olive Glitters. So I'm just going to do the same thing with this gold. I'm going to, instead of holding it this way, I'm going to hold it this way. And I'm going to just tap lightly so this can fall naturally into the fade. So you see that? So right now, it's just gonna do like a natural blend. I'm not worried about filling it just yet. You're just gonna tap very lightly. Now I'm gonna tap off any excess. Now I'm just gonna look and see if there's any spots that you see that went up too high. Like this one, this piece of gold went all the way to the top. You can just go in with a tool. You can take it out, move it down, anything like that. So I'm just gonna take off any pieces that went on too high. Oh my gosh. Alright. So this one, again, it went a little bit too high. So I'm just taking that off. And this one. Alright. So there basically we have our fade mapped out. So now I'm going to just put a little bit of Athena on the bottom here. I don't want this to be fully filled in with the Athena. So I'm just going to tap in lightly just to get a little bit more of a coverage with the shade, but not full. So that looks good to me. So I'm just going to tap that off. And I'm going to put the rest back into my shaker. Alright, so there's still some gold on this sheet, so I'm just going to try to get as much off as I can, just because I don't want that gold to mix in with my opal glitter. Alright, so now I'm going to go back in with Opal Majesty, and now I'm going to just let that cover up fully. So you want to make sure that you get your rim just like that. Okay, and now we're going to go down more. And I love how the almond base kind of makes this opal glitter look like beige-ish. Okay, so now I'm just going to tap that off. And then on the bottom, I'm going to go in with Gold Member. So right now I'm just having to one-hand it because my cup is crooked. Alrighty. So now that this side still has opal glitter on it, I'm just going to flip it over to the gold side, and I'm going to go in with Gold Member by Peachy Olive Glitters, and I'm just going to fill in the empty spots on this gold. So I'm going to start on the bottom. And at this point, we already mapped out our colors, so you can just go in. So I'm going to let this fade here. just like that. So right now I'm going to go in again one more time with the Oval Majesty, again around this area, just to make sure that we have a nice blend on there. Okay, so I'm gonna go flip my sheet, and now I'm gonna go in with Opal Majesty again. So right now I'm just gonna tap here where the gold blends in with the white, just so that it can fade a little bit more nicer, just like that. So what you're doing with an ombre is you're just basically layering your colors until it looks how you want it to. Alright guys, so this is the cup all glittered. So what I did was I went in with this parchment paper and I just patted down lightly on the chunky glitter, just so that it will be easier later on with our coats. So what you want to do is you're going to let this dry for about 4 to 6 hours. I'm just going to let it sit overnight. So tomorrow I'm going to record another video of me painting on the cheetah print spots. So if you want to see that, stay tuned because that will be up next. And look how lovely that came out. So a lot of times with the opal glitters, depending on your base coat of spray paint, you can change how it looks. So here in the bottle, it looks white, like a pearly color, and then here it kind of gives like a little cream color. So I love these colors together. Again, I used the metallic spray paint by Rust-Oleum, and I used the almond spray paint by Rust-Oleum on the base, and look how lovely that looks together. Alright, so that was all for this video. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye.